Hey everybody, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to geek out just a little bit regarding Fallout today, but it will help me explain what I appreciate the most about Fallout Shelter when I compare it to the board game version of Fallout from the video game Fallout 4 and all the Fallouts pretty much. I have played all of these video games, Fallout 4, Fallout Las Vegas, 76, and Shelter. And what I think Fallout Shelter does that's different from this bad boy is it contains the game because it's a little bit smaller in focus. You're just dealing with one shelter. And it creates a perfectly timed, wonderfully themed board game that's easy to pick up and super fun to be in because I love the Fallout universe. I just do. Ooh, I love it. I love it so much. So what's one of those things that really makes Fallout Shelter work well? First off, it's the theme. I am huge on story, and not only does Fallout Shelter have all the iconography that kind of stirs up all of those recognizable locations and items and people and figures, it also has this wonderful introduction that not only gives you the story world and the flavor, the kind of dry humor that you get in Fallout, which is kind of like that terrible humor used in post-apocalyptic worlds to make you feel like maybe things aren't so bad. What they do in the very beginning in that overview is they tell you how to win the game, what you're going to do, and it just gives you that feel of Fallout. Love, love, love. The other thing that I really appreciate is how short the game is. It's an hour game. And it kind of ends before you want it to because you're really ramping up and you're working on your production, you're building your level in the dwelling, you're gaining more and more dwellers as you go, and this is a worker placement developing. Again, it's just your level in the Fallout Shelter, but that's kind of the base core for this, and you are adding all of these rooms that are going to help you and potentially other players in the game gain more resources that gain you more victory points, which of course is the happiness symbol. Each player is going to get this board that marks how many resources they have of each kind. There are only 6 resources max that you can keep in your storage of electricity, food, and water. And then there's also the special skills, the SPECIAL, as any Fallout player would know. You definitely want to hone these skills. In this game, it's very streamlined. Strength, but it doesn't really apply in the same way as the video game that's more developed, that has all of the brackets of strength skills and all perception and everything here. So what you do is you get a little guy and he stands on there and you don't even have to find the guy that's the strength skill. But if you're, again, into Fallout, each one of the figures for every player is the different figurine for each of these skills. Again, geek out moment. I mean, they're so cute. They look just like the video game, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they have the different shapes. They all just act as the person. It just is one of your worker placement people. The game has just a great balance of threats that approach and come into the main level, threats that are hopefully showing up in your levels for each player as each player takes a level beneath the surface, and you can fight any threat. It's just that threats are negative victory points at the end of the game if they're still in your level. And so you want to clear out the ones that are in your level, but you can fight any of them. And they're a little risky, I'll say that. It's nice to have weapons and it's nice to have rerolls and items that help you do combat, because it's really just you roll 2 dice and you hope you fight the monster off. Otherwise, your person gets exhausted and it takes the entire next turn to stand them up. So when a player has built their 6th room inside of their level, that round is it, and then you score up. And again, it's about happiness. And happiness is your victory point tally because that player is going to win the game, and then of course, as part of the story, you become the overseer. The thing I like about this game too is players can block other players from spaces, because once you go to a circle where an open space is to do an action, you can't do that for the rest of that round. And first player marker in this game is probably the most important that I've played. If you get first player marker, you get that first dibs on the very first space that you really, really need to be successful for that round and for the game. And if you're last in order, I mean, good luck. You really gotta get either first player or have so many great options that you can take essentially your fourth pick, because other players are going to take some really great actions away from you. One of which is the action to reproduce and get more of your workers available for the very next round. And so you can have babies, but in the very beginning there are only 2 places to do that, and one of them injures your person. You can either gain dwellers that come in from the wasteland, or you can have babies. The other place you want to get things is for the limited resources. If there's only 1 or 2 spaces available for water or food or electricity, you gotta go there first. And then the last place is the items. To get the stuff that helps you make better moves and more effective moves, essentially more powerful turns. One of the reasons I would suggest Fallout Shelter over Fallout the board game is because that board game is big and it's cumbersome and it's just more in depth and attempts to do the open, sandbox kind of game style that the Fallout big video games tend to do. And Fallout Shelter is really small and focused, and I think that makes for just a stronger, unified board game. This is so well balanced that players come within 1, 2, 3 points of each other. To me, that shows that you can take very different paths, you can choose different things, and still be in the range of each other gaining victory points. This game is fun, it's fast, it's streamlined, it's balanced, and I love the Fallout world. I love it, and this does the game on your computer, on your app, on your tablet great. It captures it 100% and is better because it's shorter. It has an end, right? You build to your 6th room and that triggers the end of the game. So absolutely thumbs up to Fallout Shelter, the board game. And of course, I can't not mention this comes in a gorgeous lunchbox, which again, it's so thematic. It's kind of impractical, but it's so thematic and I love it so much. I love this lunchbox. It's like a tin. It's like a, right? I like this. I like this so much. And if you're not a Fallout fan, the game still works and makes sense and is a wonderful worker placer addition to your game collection.